Hi and Assalamualaikum. A very good evening. I'm Bintu Sharil, our lecturer for EDUP3039E, and this is our presentation for the subject, which is Education Development in Malaysia, National Philosophy of Education, and also Philosophy of Teachers Education. So this is my group member with me.
My name is Sakinah binti Yamin, and I'm an ISLAH BATRISYIA Ismail.
And me, myself, SAYYIDATUN NISAK binti Magazine. So we will continue with the content of this presentation, which is the objective of this presentation and also the timeline of educational development in Malaysia, following with
National Philosophy of Education and Philosophy of Teacher Education, and then the relationship between the three content, also implication for current educational practices.
So I will continue with the objectives of this presentation, which is the first one, get to know about the timeline of education development in Malaysia, from pre-independence to during the independence or post-World War II, and also post-independence, which is what we are applied to as in now, which is the Education Act 1996, following with get to know about concepts, roles, and also goals in the National Philosophy of Education and also Philosophy of Teachers Education, and study about the relationship between education development in Malaysia, the National Philosophy of Education, and also the Philosophy of Teachers Education in Malaysia. And also the last one, study the implication of the current education practices. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to talk about the timeline of the education development in Malaysia, which is the first one. We started off with the Chisman report, the Pondok education system, which is before the British colonization. It introduces such as a traditional Islamic educational institution for Malays, and conducted at mosques mostly, because it is considered as the sacred place for educational practices, and focus on Islamic studies such as tafsir, hadith, fiqh, and morals. And also students stayed in huts near the learning institution, which is the mosque, and became the foundation of Islamic education in Malaysia, and produced religious scholars and teachers. And then during the British colonization, it is divided, which is divided by race, which is the vernacular education system, which is education based on ethnicity and mother tongue, which is Malay schools learn about basic literacy and arithmetic, and Chinese school, which is completely curriculum from China, completely applied to in our Tanah Melayu, right? They call it Tanah Melayu, right? And Tamil schools emphasize language and Indian culture, whereas English school is for the elites, noblemen, for the British to take the sons of the elites to work in their department. And then this vernacular education system actually created segregation and reduced national unity, which is apart from Malaysia's national philosophy of education. And then we move on to during independence, which is in the process of achieving independence of Malaya, which is the first one. We started with Chisman report. It is post World War II, and then we started with Chisman report, which is rebuilding education after World War II. And then they reopened vernacular and also English schools, and then the government gave financial aid to primary and secondary school. And then there were more students that get access to education, but still there are vernacular schools, so they tend to have like little bit there were no national unity back then. So we moved on to the plan. Chisman report didn't work, so we moved on to Barnes report 1950, which is building a national education system for unity. So the Barnes report planned one type of primary school using Bahasa Melayu or English, which is suggested closing vernacular schools. So they focus on just two types of school, which is the Malay school and also the English schools. So of course it faced a lot of objection from Chinese and Indians communities, and but still the school have to go on for the sake of education for the children. So it became the basis for later education process. And then the third one, Fan Wu Report 1951, which is protect Chinese education interests because of their objection from the Barnes Report 1950. Yes. So it is maintain Chinese vernacular schools, use mother tongue as medium of instruction. It is focused mainly on, the Fan Wu report focused mainly on Chinese communities. And then we go on next to Education of Ordinance 1952. So balancing Barnes and Fan Wu reports. This is where it starts, which is introduce national type schools, Malay or English as main medium of instruction, free primary education, and also form the basis of national education system that we have now. And then we have the Razak Report 1956, build a national education system that promote unity, Malay as national language of education, and vernacular schools are still allowed at primary level. And then standardized curriculum for all, and then English as an important language, as a second language, and then became foundation of Malaysian education system. So this is Education Ordinance played a huge part alongside with Razak Report 1956. And then with that, vernacular school system still applied going on, but the national type of education still exists, and Bahasa Melayu became the medium of instruction. So this promotes unity of the Malayan citizens. So next we are going to the post-independence, which is after independence. So we have Rahman Talib Report 1960, Improve Razak Report. So the Rahman Talib Report actually an improvised report of the Razak Report. And then free primary education and technical and vocational education, BM Bahasa Melayu as national language. So this actually Rahman Talib Report expanded the education to more technical and practical. So it introduces those vocational, those skills school. And then we have the Education Act 1960, implement Razak and Rahman Talib reports, free and compulsory primary education. So of course national schools, Malay medium, national type school which is the vernacular system, Chinese and Tamil medium. And then we have Malay language as compulsory subject. And then legally established national education system and promoted unit through language policy. So they are still vernacular, but the Bahasa Melayu is very compulsory. It is compulsory. And then we go on to Aminuddin Baki Report 1964, which is secondary education and manpower needs. Introduce vocational and technical streams, which means we go back to Rahman Talib Report, which introduces the technical and practical needs of students. So the student who does not excel well in academics, they could pursue the study in technical and practical schools. So this is Aminuddin Baki Report. And then linked education with economic planning, because we are in a development country, so it is very well needed for the students to learn about practical stuffs. So the next one is Cabinet Committee Report 1979, Holistic Development of Students, emphasize on academic, moral, physical and spiritual aspect, and curriculum reform, which is KBSR and KSSM, and introduce penilaian darjah 5, which is UPSR that we got at standard 6. And then focus on Bahasa Melayu proficiency, and modernized primary education, and also promoted balanced development of students. And then the last one, of course, the Education Act 1996, modernize and consolidate education laws, applied national education philosophy, recognize private, international and religious schools, and strengthen Malay language, but allowed other language, of course. And so before this, all of these reports mainly focus on primary school, but Education Act 1996 also focused on the secondary schools and higher education, of course. So that is the education development pre-independence, during the process of getting independence, and also post-independence. So it doesn't stop there, of course. It continues with RMK, Rancangan Malaysia, pertama, kedua, ketiga and stuffs, and then it continues with Pelan Induk Pembangunan, and it also continues with Malaysia Blueprint Education. So we will continue. So we have the 7th and 8th Malaysian Plan, which is from 1996 to 2005. So Education Act 1996 is considered as finalized, but the government keep on upgrading as time goes by, because for the future generation, which is, as the saying, time will change. So so in the 7th and 8th Malaysian Plan, actually the Malaysian Plan exists, and it was 1963 during the 16 May, is it 13 May? The riot, during the racial riot. So Malaysian Plan exists during those times. So the government aimed to strengthen and improve the education and training system. So the education does not only focus on primary and secondary, but also focus on higher education and also the teachers training education. So this is the Malaysian Plan. And then we go to Education Development Master Plan, which is National Education Development, or also known as Pelan Induk Pembangunan Pembelajaran ataupun Pendidikan 2006 to 2010. So educational development plan to be achieved within a 5-year period, which is 2005 until 2010, and then it combined with the 9th Malaysia Plan. So the Ministry of Education identified 6 strategic pillars to strengthen the national education system, which is nation building, identity, human capital development, upbringing national schools, and also other stuffs. So and then when that was already abolished, I do not say it's abolished, but the due date is over. So the Ministry of Education continue with Malaysia Education Blueprint 2013 until 2035. So this year is the last one. So they will create a new one, of course. So it is a long-term plan with implementation waves, which is 2013 until 2015, 2016 until 2020, and then 2021 until 2025. So it is a five-system aspiration for Malaysia's education system, which is access, quality, equity, unity, and efficiency. So it ensures every child is proficient in our national language, which is Bahasa Melayu, and also in our secondary language, second language, which is English. So it aligns with national philosophy of education. So this is what Malaysian education blueprint is about. It aligns, aiming for balanced and holistic development for students. So it tries to shift from not just exams but also thinking skills, creativity. So this is what Malaysia education blueprint is about. And they also, this blueprint also ensure all students have similar chances to education, no matter what your race, no matter what your gender, no matter where you come from, you will have the same education as Malaysian. Okay, and it also emphasizes accountability, transparency, and public participation. So that is Malaysia education blueprint, and also education development master plan. So these two actually align with vision of 2020 as Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said, Wawasan 2020. So this is what they do to align with Wawasan 2020, which is to create more holistic, all-rounded students for the sake of the country's future. That's all from me. Thank you. So we are going to continue with ISLAH.
Okay, so thank you, Sayyi, for your excellent explanation earlier. So we will move to the National Philosophy of Education first. So what is NPE? NPE was formulated in 1988 and later reviewed in 1996. And it served as the foundation and guiding principle for Malaysia's education system, and it's influencing policies, curriculum, and also teaching practices. This NPE, the philosophy stressed that education is a continuous effort to develop individuals in a holistic ways. As we know, in Bahasa Melayu we call it as JERI, but in English we call it as ISAP, which is intellectual growth, spiritual, emotional, and also physical. So four elements of this is a balanced and responsible aspect to build and create a responsible citizenship in the future. So in academic, this touch about moral and also values. Moving on to the objective. So the objective of NPE is to seek form balance and harmonious individuals. For example, just like I said earlier, the four aspect which is ISAP or JERI. So second, it aims to fully develop the potential of students in different aspects of life. So next, it produces knowledge, responsible, and also ethical citizens. For instance, through civic education, students are taught responsibility not just to themselves but also to the community and the country. And this actually aligns with the first point, which is to contribute to national harmony and also prosperity. Moving on to the elements of balance, just like what I said earlier, we have intellectually, physically, emotionally, and also spiritually. So together, this aspect, they ensure that education does not only focus about academics, but also on values, health, emotion, and also critical thinking skills. Like we know in schools nowadays, we have high order thinking skills. So it's not only about teaching the kids about how to think further, but it's about them being exposed to the outside world.
Critical thinking.
Yes, they can explore more, not just in the classroom, but they can look the teaching and learning session more from the other POV point of view. Okay. Moving on, we will see the importance of NPE. So NPE's importance, why? Because it acts as the main guideline for both curriculum and also core curriculum. It shapes the identity of Malaysian education.
Furthermore, it's also ensuring that students are nurtured as whole individuals and not just academically. We know if we only excel in exam, but we lack of, in sports, actually it's not good for us. We only use our brain but not our body. It's not healthy actually. We don't balance everything. We need to be active in both in class and also outside the class.
It became we lack in survival skill.
Yes, that's true. More importantly, it helps promote unity and integration among the people, which is very crucial and essential for the country's growth. For instance, they call the co-curricular activities. For example, they call the festival. We know that in Malaysia we have a lot of races, we have a lot of festivals, a lot of celebration. Yes, so it can including in the aspect of the holistic development of the students actually. So moreover, language programs are also some of the curriculum program that can bring students of different races together and foster national unity.
It creates unity.
Yes, but at the same time, it can create a student with more patriotism. Okay, so that is NPE. Now we will move to the philosophy of teacher education in Malaysia. Okay, so we call this in short as PTE. So PTE was introduced in 1982 by Ministry of Education, and it derived from the National Philosophy of Education and PE, just from the earlier that I said. And PTE provides vision and mission for teacher education programs. Why? Because its aim is to produce teachers who are more professionals, more competent, and have noble character. So, for example, a teacher is expected not only to teach mathematics, but also to guide the students in discipline and personal growth, which means the teacher can be multitask. It's not about go to the class and teach. No, it's about multitasking. The teacher need to do more than just standing in front of the class, give them homework and just that's all. No, teacher need to do
like all-rounded.
Yes,
teacher
need to know how to survive. Not to survive, not how to be a role model to the students. Okay.
Like us.
Yeah, like us. Inshallah. Moving to the objective of PTE. So PTE include training teachers who are competent in both pedagogy and also subject knowledge. It also aims to instill strong professional values and ethics in teachers. So in another point, the teacher is expected to nurture who can adapt to educational change and challenges, that's very important today because we know that our era is fast changing, so we cannot just stay put in a moment. No, actually everything is moving so fast. Like we know education back in our parents' time, it's different from the time that we are now. The way teacher is teaching, the way the curriculum is different, the syllabus it's also different. So as the teacher, they need to catch up with the trend nowadays. For instance, in the the pandemic COVID-19, teacher had to quickly adapt to online teaching. We know that we cannot attend classes at that time, right? So school are closed, so teacher need to do something. They need to embrace the change. So they start browsing the internet, and they use Google Classroom, right? Until now that we're using Google Classroom, Zoom, Meet, and whatsoever. That's one of the examples of the changes. So
they need
next,
to adapt and adopt.
yes,
a
teacher
new
need to
way
keep
of
learning. So the next objective is to produce teachers who are agents of change for the nation's development. It's actually the same. Teacher cannot just stay silent. No, teacher can be more than the teacher that just teach in classroom. They can be multitask. Okay. So we will look at the qualities of teachers according to the PTE. So the teacher, they are expected to have several important qualities. First, they need to be knowledgeable and skilled in their subject areas and teaching methods. So they must also be creative and also innovative. Because why? Because it's able to use new approaches and adapt to changing situation. You know, like students are very diverse. They don't just like to sit and learn and just listen. No, some students they learn better with pictures, some with sound, and some students they better in when they move around. So it's different. As a teacher, we need to embrace their diverse and need to respect them. Also, teachers should be caring and committed to their student growth and well-being. And most importantly, they should uphold noble values such as disciplines, integrity, and being role models for the student, just like what I said earlier, right? For instance, a caring teacher might notice when a student is, struggling in the class, and the teacher can give emotional support. Like the teacher actually need to be more aware of their students' condition. Like I know that there's a lot of students, a lot of people in the classroom that teacher need to guide and look. Not every time, but every time they are in class, the students are their responsibility. So everything happen to the student, the teacher need to be aware, need to help them. Whether it's personal issues, or maybe some learning issues, the teacher need to support them and need to help them. Okay. So looking forward to the importance of PTE. Okay, so PTE, it provide guidelines for teacher training institution, especially in IPG and also institutes, because it ensures that the teachers are not only experts in their subject but also moral and ethical role models. So PTE also support the broader vision of the NPE in producing balanced generations.
They focus more on teacher.
Yes, it's focused more on teacher because we have a lot of they call opinion. They say that the blueprints the education blueprint need to focus more on the student. Yes, we have it. This is about the teacher. The teacher itself need to
Be focused.
Yeah, be focused. They need to improve themselves.
In order to teach the future generation for the future country also.
Right. So the last one is to strengthen the professional status of teaching in Malaysia. So this shows that teachers are at the heart of national building. So it says that the teacher is the what they call is more close to the students and the people, so they can help more, and it put a very significant relationship between the teacher and the students. Okay, so that's all from me. Sakinah can continue.
Okay, let's move on to the next topic, which is analysis of relationship between educational development and both philosophies. Also, the last one is implication for current educational practices. Okay, so now let us first look at the relationship between the national philosophy of education, or we call it as NPE, and the development of education in Malaysia. So, the NPE provides the vision and guiding principles for our education system, that it emphasizes holistic development, just not only intellectual growth but also emotional, spiritual and physical well-being. So when we study Malaysia's educational reforms, from the Razak report to the Malaysia Education Blueprint 2013 to 2025, we can clearly see how these policies reflect the goals of the NPE. So for instance, the introduction of moral and religious education highlights the NPE's commitment to values and character formation, while policies on equitable access demonstrate the philosophy's focus on inclusivity and unity. So the first one, analysis of the relationship between educational development NPE and PTE. So the first, the relationship between NPE with educational development. So the NPE serves as the vision, guiding education towards holistic development of the intellect, spirit, and emotion, also physical aspects of every learner. So educational reforms throughout history from the result report to the Malaysia Education Blueprint 2013 to 2025 that have reflected the vision. For example, the introduction of moral and religious education clearly aligns with the NPE's emphasis on values and spiritual growth, ensuring that development is not only academic but also ethical and balanced. And the second relationship between PTE and educational development. So, the PTE, which is philosophy teacher education, equips teachers with knowledge, pedagogical skills, and values so they are ready to implement curriculum changes. As reform occur, teacher training also evolves. For example, the integration and the PTE, integration of ICT and the 21st century skills requires teachers to adopt student-centered approaches, and the PTE ensures that they are prepared for the transition. So the Teacher Standards Malaysia, or SGM 2.0, further supports this by promoting professionalism and lifelong learning among teachers. And the third one.
So, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So the PTE and education development, actually, it's like during the COVID. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it's
yeah.
about the not
Yeah, I just
like
noticed that.
pre-COVID, pre-pandemic, something like that.
Yeah.
Because at that time, you know that the world is changing, so we need to
So the
alter a lot
the
of
one,
things.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. Sorry.
It's okay. Okay, the next one, the third one, the third relationship is between NPE and PTE themselves, which is the NPE provides the philosophical foundation, setting out what education in Malaysia should achieve, while the PTE functions as the practical mechanisms to achieve it. In simple terms, the NPE gives us the what, and the PTE prepares teachers with the how. For example, if the NPE stresses holistic student development, then the PTE ensures teachers are trained to nurture students intellectually, emotionally, and morally. Yes. Okay, and the last one is triangular relationship. So when we connect all these three together, educational development, the NPE, and the PTE, we can see a triangular relationship, which is the educational policies represent the implementation of the NPE vision.
I'm sorry.
Through
I'm sorry.
teachers who are shaped.
I'm sorry. I'm
the
truly
PTE.
sorry.
So the NPE provides national direction, while the PTE ensures teacher readiness, and educational development puts this into policy action. So this triangular connection guarantees that our education system is not only structurally reformed, but also values driven and teacher supported. And then the last topic that I will cover is implication for current educational practices. So the first one is curriculum design, which is our curriculum must reflect the holistic goals of the NPE, that balancing intellectual, moral, spiritual, and physical aspects. At the same time, it needs to embed 21st century skills such as critical thinking, creativity, communication, and collaboration. So students are well prepared for the challenges of the modern world right now. So next one, second, teacher professionalism. That teachers today must embody the ideas of the PTE, acting as role models, lifelong learners, and ethical practitioners. So, continuous professional development, or CPD, is essential to make sure teachers remain relevant and capable of responding to educational reforms and global changes.
What is CPD?
Continuous professional development, that teacher, as a professional, being a professionalism. like that.
More professional.
Yeah, more professional.
According to time change.
Yes, true. Because nowadays there's a lot of teacher that doesn't know about the technology right now since the COVID happening. So teacher must more adapt to the technology nowadays. So yeah, like that. Okay, the third one, which is there is a strong emphasis on student-centered learning. This approach highlights active learning, inquiry, and problem-solving, where teachers act more as facilitators than traditional controllers. This directly reflects the NPE's vision of holistic growth and the PTE's role of preparing teachers to support student independence and critical thinking. And the fourth one, digital integration is now an essential feature of education, which is ICT and EdTech tools are widely used to make teaching more inclusive, engaging, and innovative. This reflects both the aspiration of the Malaysia education blueprint and the adaptability of teachers trained under the PTE to meet the needs of a digital generation and the demands of the digital economy. And the last one, finally, education continues to play a nation-building role. Both the NPE and PTE stress the importance of nurturing unity, national identity, and responsible citizenship. Today's educational actually practices, therefore, promote respect for diversity, civic responsibility, and multicultural understanding, so that students can become not only successful individuals, but also valuable contributors to Malaysia's harmony and progress.
Wow.
Okay, so to conclude my part, the relationship between educational development, the NPE and the PTE is dynamic and deeply interconnected. The NPE provides the vision, while the PTE equips teachers to realize that vision. And educational reforms bring these philosophers into action. Together, these three, they shape an education system that is holistic, values-driven, and future-ready.
They play a huge part in
Educational. Yes. So that's it. That's all.
So the conclusion, oh my god, I'm so sorry. So the conclusion for our session today, the journey of Malaysia's educational development has deeply shaped by, of course, the other factors of the foreigners, like colonization, the foreign way of shaping their students, and finally Malaysia got their own national philosophy of education. So of course, the national philosophy of education emphasizes on holistic development of the children, of the students, being all-rounded, can actually bring Malaysia's name to the international level. And the PTE, the philosophy of teachers education, highlights how the role of teachers need to do in order for the students to bring the name of Malaysia to the international level. So with the education development, with the NPE, with the TPE, the PTE, we get to know that Malaysia got a very serious development in education towards a sustainable, bright future ahead of us. So by understanding this relationship, we see that philosophies are just not theoretical, but living principles that guide current educational practices, from curriculum design to co-curriculum, in order to bring a multiracial country together to create a better world citizens. Yes, I'm so sorry. So Malaysia, with these three content combined, which is the education development, the NPE, and also the PTE, Malaysia is able to nurture a knowledgeable, skilled, and morally upright generation who are ready to meet the challenges of a globalized world while upholding national identity and values, because we live in a modernized world with technological advancements and stuff, and even nowadays we get to see lots of things happen. So inshallah, with this NPE, with this PTE, we get to make holistic, all-rounded, most importantly, empathy students to shape the world for future generation, inshallah. So I think that's all from us. So thank you so very much, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So,